you do these things wrong in your car rental business, I'm not even joking, I would not recommend getting into the business. These are literally the two most important things, in my opinion, that you need in order to be successful in owning a car rental company. These are the core values that I believe in that you have to know in order to succeed. The two things are depreciation and purchase price. But honestly, if you mess up either one of these, as in you don't realize what your car is depreciating and it already depreciates so much that you lose equity, or you purchase a car wrong, which means that you depreciate even faster if you buy the car wrong, then you might as well not do it. Like, you're gonna lose more money in these two places than you will in the whole entire business. You buy a car new, it's here, okay? Let's call it 30K. Okay, that's a nice car, okay? When you depreciate it, it typically goes somewhere like this, flattens out a little bit, then slowly goes down, then flattens out until it practically goes to zero. No car really goes to zero, but they get pretty close. When you're looking at something like this is typically year zero. So if you buy brand new, this is year one. I guess we could put it on here, 0, 1, this is year 2, this is year 3 and 4, and then this is year 5, 6, 7, 8. Whenever I bought in cars, it's always been the same. Never buy new. That's where you're gonna lose everything. Do not do it. Do not buy a brand new car. Because if you buy a brand new car, two things. You're not following this rule, which we'll go over after this, and you're immediately gonna have the biggest drop in a car's history. First 2 years, and really the first year, it drops faster than any other year in purchasing a car. And some people say, well, I can get a really good deal. I can get back of MSRP. I don't care. I've seen Teslas go from buy brand new, a $30,000, $40,000 Model 3. Year 2 later, it's worth $25,000. That's a 50% drop in the first 2 years. That's insane. Now tell me what kind of business you can have that will recoup that amount of money. There are none. And if you're doing them, they're probably illegal. So when you're buying them, you wanna find the lowest depreciating years and target them, okay? Because if you don't, again, you're going to hit the wrong portion of the depreciation. It's gonna hurt a lot more than it would have to. If you don't have enough money to buy a $30,000 car when it's down to 20, but then buy it down here when it has more miles and it's older. You don't have to buy brand new cars, you don't have to buy exciting cars, but buy them at the right time. So when I'm looking at buying cars, I'm always looking between year 2 to year 4. That's not the case for every single car, but that's for a lot of it. There's certain cars, if you look at a graph, I'm just gonna draw it around here. Here's the chart. Okay, and I've seen cars literally go like this, straight down. Well, ish. There's no bell curve to it. When I see something like this, that's scary because every year has the same amount of depreciation. Sure, I could technically, if I'm gonna buy a car like this, I could buy it at any single point down the depreciational curve because it won't really make a difference. But the downside of it, there's no even out. There's no time where I'm gonna lose less money than others. So I can't calculate a good time to buy it. It doesn't really matter, which may be a good thing if you don't care how much it depreciates, which obviously you should, and that's kind of the point of this video. When you're looking at depreciation, this isn't something you do just once before you buy a car, which is typically when you need to buy it. So you need to look at when you buy a car, and then periodically. I'd say check your depreciation. I mean, you can do it every month or quarter. Depends how many cars you have. Like, we're doing it every quarter. Some people can do it every month. You can do it every day if you really want to, if you're crazy about it. But the point of that note is make sure you're watching it depreciate, because there could be a time where, let's say you go a year without checking it, and you bought Teslas, and Elon Musk dropped his pricing 30% for new cars. Well, what's that gonna do to used cars? It's gonna drop the market. And so when you're holding that, you can lose more money than you realize. And I see this happen a lot more often than not, where people will hold their cars, and we did this in the beginning too. You hold your car and you say, I'm gonna buy it and hold it till it dies. Well, you get 2 or 3 years in, you're like, well, actually I wanna sell it. You go to sell it and it's worth nothing. And maybe not worth nothing, but it's worth a lot less than you anticipated. And I actually made this mistake recently, last year. We bought a van. It's a 21 Ford Transit van, and we bought it for like $32,000 or something. Didn't watch depreciation, held it for 6 months during busy season. We made a lot of money on it, but we would have made a lot more if it wouldn't have depreciated so much, because it lost, I think we sold it for like 25. So we lost like 7 grand in like 7 months, which is crazy. $1,000 a month in depreciation. If you take that theory of $1,000 a month, or even take the percentage of that and depreciate it over any car, you're gonna get slaughtered. I mean, there's no time where you win it. And if you buy new cars, which is at the top of the peak, it's gonna be even worse. So you always have to be watching your depreciation and make sure you sell at this point. Now, when you're looking at depreciation, there's more things you can look at. Typically, what you wanna do is you wanna look at future depreciation, which is something that we're looking at right now for the next 12 months. And arguably you should always be looking at this. And so the way that you're doing this is, okay, here's the bell curve again, whatever, drops. You're here, this is where the car is right now. What I wanna do, and this is between year 2 and 3, I wanna look at what does it look like in the next year of owning it. Now taking into consideration how many miles we're putting on the cars on average. So I know that all my cars, and this is gonna be a lot more than a lot of rental companies, we're putting on 3,800 miles per month, okay? On average, I think I took the average on like 160 cars. So if we take 45,600, okay? So 600K miles, okay? Per year. That's a lot, right? So what I wanna do now is there's things online, we look at MMR. So what I'll do is instead of looking at, if I have a car that's a 2023, I wanna look at last year, so a year before model. And this isn't gonna be exact math, but there's not really a really good way to project this, but I'm gonna look at a 2022, so this is last year's model. And I'm gonna look at, if my car is 10,000 miles right now, okay, well now it has, what is this? 65,600, okay? Now, if my car is worth, it's called 25,000, okay? And when I depreciate it, let's say it's worth 16,000. That'd be a big depreciation, obviously. That's a $9,000 drop. That's a big, big drop. Most cars probably won't drop that much. This probably won't drop that much either. That'd be an extreme, extreme condition. And obviously, with me looking at all this, my key is, okay, well, my average is 3,800 miles per month. How do I get that down to 3,000 or 2,500, whatever it is? Because every time I drop miles that we're using, the value won't go down as much. But let's just still assume this. So 9,000 miles a year. Okay, now let's break that down. So if we have 9,000 divided by 12, we're looking at $750 a month. $750 per month, okay? Now let's say, and that's in depreciation. Now let's say my profit per car after loan pay down, after expenses, after software, employees, building, let's say my average is at 600 car, okay? Cool, now I know that over the next 12 months, my car on average is gonna be a loss of $150 per month. Now what does that tell me? Does that tell me I want to keep the car? No. Does that tell me I need to sell the car? Probably. And this is really powerful because it can help tell you, it'll help kind of paint a picture of two things. Should I sell the car now? Is it going to be beneficial, or is it worth it to keep it? If I'm breaking even or maybe making 50, 60, 100 bucks a month, obviously 100 bucks a month is better than zero negative. If I'm the one doing all the work in the business and I have very few cars and I'm going to break even, it's probably not worth it. And if I'm only making 100 bucks and I only have a couple cars and I'm doing all the work, it's definitely not worth it. But if I have a lot of cars and I'm making, let's say this is positive 150 bucks a month, and I have employees doing everything and I have an automated business, then it is worth it because there's not a lot of work that I have to put into it other than oversee it. So this number can be different for a lot of people. It just depends on what you're doing in the business, how hands-on you are, and what the number looks like. Keeping in mind that this business isn't really, you make some money as you grow cars, but it's a volume game. Like the more cars you have, obviously the more money you make, but you won't see tons and tons and tons of money until you have tons and tons and tons of cars. Take a picture of this, whatever, keep this in mind. Recap, don't buy new, buy in the period where it kind of evens out. Buy the cars with the lowest depreciation years, typically between year 2 and 4, depends on the car. When you buy it, you need to be tracking your depreciation, look at it every month, every quarter, every year. Year's probably too long, so look at it fairly often. Track how many miles you're putting on the cars. Look at your future depreciation. So take it from a 23 to a 22, so start looking at year 22s. Look at the ones with an additional 45,000 miles, if that's how many miles you put on per year. For you, you're probably not in the same business I am, so it's probably gonna be less. And then figure out what your true net profit is gonna be at the end of the year per car and determine, is it worth it for me to keep the car or not, okay? Now let's talk about purchase. I think when people get started, they get stuck in probably the worst way to buy cars, which is dealership. And there's two reasons, because typically fees end up spending more than what the car you could sell it for. So you buy retail and you can sell, there's two ways you sell it. You can either sell it like wholesale, which would be if you sell it back to them, that's like their trade-in value / trade-in, or you sell private party. And if you look at the value between buying a car at a dealership versus wholesale, there's a big gap. I mean, you're spending thousands of dollars more. Each dealership is making thousands of dollars per vehicle. So when you do that, you can only sell wholesale, which would be through like dealership or Carvana or whatever, or you're selling private party, which is more. It's more than wholesale, but you're still taking a hit. I mean, you're still taking a massive hit. The way to buy is, I would say, the number one way, auction, and this is a dealer auction. And so when you think about dealer auction, you obviously think about, you have to be a dealer to do it, which is true. And you don't have to get your dealer license. When I first started buying cars from dealerships or from dealer auctions, I had a dealer friend, and I didn't know him well until I started doing it, but a dealer friend that owned a dealership that was buying cars for me. So essentially, you just need to find somebody, and it's actually not somebody, find a dealer to buy cars. And when you're thinking about this, you're not looking for like a dealership, like a big dealership, like a new car store, used car store, whatever. You're literally looking for a guy that like retails on the side or has a dealer license and like has a smaller store. So you want to find like a smaller store, especially if you're not in a town and you don't know anybody. Find a smaller store and tell them that you want to buy cars from dealer auctions, and they'll help you out. Typically, there's always a fee. You're paying, it's about $200 to $500 per car. If you're paying more than $500, that's too much. If you're paying about $200, that's a good deal. If you're paying under $200, which you have to be buying quite a bit of cars, that's a great deal. The second best way to buy cars, because people swear by this. People say, oh, I find better deals buying this way than at dealer auctions. I don't believe them. I think they're liars. But it's private party, which I don't believe it for a second. And so private party, obviously, Facebook, Marketplace, Craigslist. The problem with private is, in my opinion, the time it takes. And I had the same feeling when I sell cars. Okay, I gotta look at 1,000 cars that are selling. I have to message, so I gotta look at 1,000, I gotta message maybe 50, then I gotta look at 15, buy one. And I remember back in the day, like we would be looking, to buy one car, we'd spend 10 plus hours, tons of time. I'd spend every night on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, literally scrolling for hours. And I'd be like, okay, I've seen this car before, I'd like scroll through a bunch because I'm like, I've already seen these. And I just look for the newest ones that I haven't seen, or I'd look up new models of stuff. And maybe super rarely you can find a better deal than at an auction. But the amount of time that you're taking to do it, unless you love to just waste time, private party is not the best way to do it. Like you're spending more in general and you're taking infinitely more time. Now, the upside to private parties, you don't have to pay sales tax. Depending on the state, Arizona, we don't have to. But still, like again, you're spending so much time and you're really not even finding a better deal, so it's not worth it. Again, do this. I would go, to find a dealer, I'd go into like Facebook groups. You can go to like a dealers group, or you can go into like even like a Turo group in your area and just tell people you're looking for a dealer to buy cars, and honestly, you'll find somebody. You can find wholesalers, which are pretty much just dealers that will buy in bulk from companies and wholesale them out, but sometimes they'll like feed some to retail, which would be like the customers like you and I. And so that's what I'd be looking at. So point of this whole video, maybe you're still looking for the point, is from my experience on my company, my cars, and from what I've seen, the biggest fails I've seen currently and in the past has been on depreciation, which we already just talked about, and purchasing. I think they're both equally as important and they go hand in hand. And if you mess up either one of these or both, in my opinion, you're doomed to fail. You're not gonna care about how you're gonna buy cars, you're gonna go to dealerships, you don't care about how much it depreciates, you buy them brand new. I'm not joking, don't get in the business. You will lose more money than you'll make in this business if you buy them wrong and if you let them depreciate. So, hope you take this to heart. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.